to the 14th annual of Pueblo Canta. Today will be filled with many amazing singing performances. I hope you all enjoy. A big thank you to the parents of the Dare to Dream youth program who are providing us with the delicious food tonight. Centro Romero wants to thank each and every one of you all for coming to support our event and our efforts for social justice. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Buenas tardes a todas y todos. Mi nombre es Claudia Luceros, Executive Director of CRLN, the Chicago Religious Leadership Network in Latin America. And I'm thrilled to welcome you to the 14th annual El Pueblo Canta. This is a momentous occasion for our community as we come together to celebrate the rich cultural heritage and diversity that make our community so special. We have a wonderful lineup of performances for you featuring talented artists and musicians. Whether you are here to enjoy the music, the food, or simply connect with each other, I'm confident you will find something to love at El Pueblo Canta this year. So let's come together in the spirit of unity and celebration and make this year's event one to remember. Buenas tardes a todas y todos. Para mí es un honor darles la bienvenida a nuestro evento anual del Pueblo Canta. Este es un momento muy emotivo para nuestra comunidad porque venimos juntos a celebrar de nuestra cultura, de nuestra diversidad, que hace nuestras comunidades tan especiales. Y hemos preparado un programa muy lindo y bonito para ustedes, con un grupo de artistas muy talentosos. Y quizá estamos aquí porque queremos disfrutar de la música, la comida, o simplemente porque queremos conectar uno con otro. Y estoy consciente y estoy segura de que vamos a encontrar algo hermoso en este evento, este año. Así que les invito a todas y todos a estar juntos, unidos, en el espíritu de la unidad y la celebración para hacer de este evento un evento que recordaremos por siempre. Gracias.
Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Lidia Sahouri. On behalf of American Muslims for Palestine, AMP, I would like to welcome all of you here at the 14th annual El Pueblo Canta. This concept is usually to bring people together from different places and different thoughts and different walks of life. It's beautiful to see everyone here. I hope you enjoyed our food, the Middle Eastern food. We have some, line dance for you, Dabka. AMP thought this year is good for us to actively join this concert because this is for refugees, and who is better to do something for refugees? Palestinians are refugees there since the establishment of Israel. Palestinians have been, they started with 700,000 refugees, and now all over, we are scattered all over the world. So it's going to be 75 years in May, so we're kind of commemorating that in May 15. So we thought this is going to be a good occasion, a good place to be here to talk to you all about our cause and join in working for justice for refugees anywhere and everywhere. Thank you. I just would like to say a couple of words in Arabic. أهلا وسهلا بكم جميعا في المهرجان الرابع عشر البويبلو كانتا الذي يأتيكم للعمل من أجل العدالة للمهجرين. هذا التجمع يأتي من أنحاء مدينة شيكاغو للاحتفال باختلافنا والتأكيد على أن اختلافنا لا يمنعنا من العمل سويا من أجل العدالة لكل من تهجر في بيته. Thank you.
Buenas noches, mi nombre es Susana y yo soy del Centro Romero, voy a traducir lo que Lida dijo. Ella está muy contenta y les da la bienvenida a todos por estar aquí por parte de ella y de su comunidad American Muslim for Palestine en Chicago. Y también está agradecida porque muchos de ellos de su comunidad son inmigrantes en todo alrededor del mundo y ellos están contentos de unir las manos en comunidad el día de hoy con todos nosotros. Gracias.
I'm Chris from Wellington UCC. Sadly, Wellington UCC Pastor Annalise is sick and very sad not to be here today. Lamentablemente, la pastora de UCC de Wellington, Annalise Hart, está enferma y no puede unirse a nosotros hoy. As Wellington's music director, I welcome you to this gathering. It's a deep breath of all that is good and compassionate and just. Como directora musical de Wellington, les doy la bienvenida a esta reunión, un respiro profundo de todo lo que es bueno, compasivo y justo. Wellington is an immigrant welcoming congregation of CRLN. And nationally, we were one of the first faith communities in the 1980s to become a sanctuary church, welcoming refugees and asylum seekers. Wellington es una congregación de bienvenida inmigrantes de CRLN y unidad nacional, una de las primeras comunidades de fe en la década de 1980s en convertirse en una iglesia santuario que da la bienvenida a refugiados y solicitantes de asilo. We are honored to be one of the 4 co-sponsors tonight of El Pueblo Canta. Nos sentimos honrados de compatrocinar El Pueblo Canta. We have a couple of requests, and that is if you are coming in and out, you use the side. We are live streamed, and we're very grateful for Evelyn and for Diego and Fernando, who are making sure that people at home are able to see us. We are very thankful for Dale Fast. Where are you, Dale? Can you raise a hand? He's our official photographer, so he's the only one that can come up in front. If you want to take pictures, please stay to the side. He has been with us for most of those 14 years, and we are very grateful. Mark Burge Anderson from Wellington made the flyer and has done that for about a decade. We're very grateful for Hannah. And Hannah, what is your twin sister's name? Rita? For taking care of the sound tonight. And Hannah's been doing that for over a decade as well. And of course for the food from Central Romero and from Miras community. For those of you who may need it, this area behind these curtains here is the Muslim designated prayer space. So if you need that space, especially for the final one, the Maghrib sunset prayer, that's the space designated. I welcome now those people who are going to remind us of the land that we're on. We begin with the land acknowledgement.
We gather in person and virtually as one community standing on the ancestral land of many peoples. The greater Chicago area is situated on the homelands of the Potawatomi people who cared for the land until forced out by non-native settlers. The Ojibwe, Odawa, Peoria, Kaskaskia, Miami, Miscauton, Saw and Fox, Kickapoo, Ho-Chunk, Menominee, and tribes whose names have been lost as a result of genocide also lived, gathered, and traded in this region. Today, Chicago is home to the largest urban indigenous population in the Midwest, who continue to honor this land and its waterways, practice traditions, and celebrate their heritage.
These names are foreign and tricky on our tongues. We struggle to say them as a way to acknowledge that in something even as simple as where we live, we are part of the very deep, painful, and racist history of this country. We say these names in a spirit of hope that a new way is possible, one of collaboration, cooperation, rather than destruction and desecration.
In naming our native kin who are rooted in this land, not in the past, but also in the present and into the future, we commit ourselves to learning about our kin and to finding ways to reparations, both immediate and ongoing, that will work towards healing the wounds of the past and work towards justice.
In a world where beauty is often overwhelmed and silenced due to repressive powers of destruction and evil, we gather tonight to celebrate and embrace the breaths of global beauty. For the third year, members of the El Wale Ensemble have gifted us, have blessed us, donating their time and talent. I invite you to sit back and breathe in a breath of beauty in their Arabic traditional music, El Wale Ensemble.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Anita Darwish, and this is Hassan Salama. We're going to do a few pieces of Arabic music for you today that are very near and dear to the hearts of the people, especially the people of Palestine. The first song we are going to do is Asfur Talin Shibab. And it means the bird stood at my window. And it's often a song about a bird who would long for freedom, which is, of course, a metaphor for the Palestinian struggle and the struggle of everybody and many people across the globe who are looking and searching and struggling every day and they wish and they hope for freedom. Hassan?
Good evening, everybody, and welcome. And I would like to thank you all for asking me to be here. And I would like to thank you for being here.
Thank you, Chris, for the generous invitation to be back here once again and the gracious welcome that we've received. الأنوار بديش ومغني أخذت دمار وسلاحة بكي هداغي الأنوار بديش ومغني طوعي النهار بالوسط يتوسع الجروح طوعي النهار بالوسط يتوسع الجروح قبل ما يكسر الحق كسر صوته وجناحه يقتلوا ويبقى اللي بنحكم بالسماء يقتلوا شايف الوين اللي بالبيت الشيرة يقتلوا خايف من مين اللي يحرس بالنار يقتلوا ليش تطوي اللي مرفق السنة أصحاب المشرق واللي يدور خليني عندك خبيني داخلك يا نور خليني عندك خبيني داخلك يا شوف شمسي على خاطر الشعر أمواج العمر شوف الشمس راح تطلع على خاطر الشعر أمواج العمر شاف جمال محمد سكت من قلبي وعليك عيني شاف جمال محمد سكت من قلبي وعليك عيني شاف قلبي عمرك تحمل أجمل حبيبي يمكن وأنت من وين اللي بنحكم بالسماء اللي جاي من وين اللي من بيت الشيرة اللي خايف من مين اللي من الأقصى والبان اللي ريشك وين اللي فرفض الزمان أصفر من الشباك علي نور خبيني عندك خبيني داخلك يا نور خبيني عندك خبيني داخلك يا نور Our next song is going to feature Mr. Hassan Salama on vocals.
اللي عيونه يقولوا إني بحبه وعمري ما بفوته. إنه وحياة الله عنه ما بيتسلم، إنه إن شاء الله ما تغيب ظنونه، إنه إني راجع على بلادي راجع، سلمت راسك نادي الخضراء بنبتة حنونه، يا غير سنونه سلم لي عيونه، إنه إني بحبه وعمري ما بفوته. وسلم علي وعلي سلم لي علي وعلي مني لما ترجع راح بوس عيونه، يا طير السنون سلم لي عيونه، إني بحبه وعمري ما بفوته، يا طير السنون سلم لي عيونه، إني بحبه وعمري ما بفوته.
The start of the evening is near and dear to the hearts of the Palestinian people. It is Yumma Wilid Hawa. If you know the words, feel free to sing along. Any notes on this that you would like to tell?
It's about a person who is asking his mother question, and just wanted to know why all this war is happening, why they don't have a house, why there's a lot of greed, there's a lot of hatred between people. So he's asking his mother, Yamma, in Hebrew, Ima, in English, mother. So he keeps asking her, mother, where is this? Mother, why is this? And she's trying to answer, but I don't think she will find any answers. نفتح دربي الأمل والأمل برجالي ضروري الجبل عالمي بالعالي مفتاح دربي الأمل والأمل برجالي يا شعبنا يا بطل أبكيك العناية يا شعبنا يا بطل أبكيك العناية يوم دربي المناجر وأنا حبنا بالبيت دربي المناجر وأنا حبنا بالبيت. Thank you, Mr.
As you know, we have created a solidarity statement for the Pueblo Canta. Como saben, hemos creado una declaración de solidaridad para nuestro concierto. Yo la voy a leer en español. I'm going to read it in Spanish and then we will read it in Arabic and English. La solidaridad es el reconocimiento de los lazos que tejen vida a vida. Es nuestra elección, nuestra esperanza, tratar como sagrada la interdependencia. Elegimos construir juntos, hombro a hombro, frente a la violencia sancionada del Estado en casa y en el extranjero, ya sea en Chicago, Minneapolis, Tennessee, Nuevo México, El Salvador, Venezuela, Palestina, Haití, Yemen y Siria. Una violencia que se manifiesta a través de balas, bastones y gases lacrimógenos, que asfixia nuestro aliento y perfora nuestros cuerpos. La violencia se esconde detrás de la ley, construyendo muros, cárceles, intentando matar la solidaridad a través del aislamiento en jaulas. La tensión intracomunitaria enfrenta a las comunidades negras y marrones, sistemáticamente abandonadas, contra los inmigrantes recién llegados y a través de las políticas injustas y recursos desiguales. Elegimos unirnos en resistencia, no porque nuestras luchas sean idénticas, sino porque todos luchamos contra las fuerzas formidables del racismo estructural, el encarcelamiento y las tecnologías letales utilizadas para mantenernos. La solidaridad trastoca este proceso, afirmando nuestra humanidad unida en defensa de la vida y los principios de justicia y el espíritu de resiliencia. Ningún ser humano es ilegal.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. And I love El Pueblo Canta. This has become a tradition, and it is a joy to participate in this evening. And we're so glad to have you here in person, and also those of you participating virtually, welcome. One of the things, maybe you came because you knew there was going to be some really good homemade mole. Maybe you were here because you love the sound of the live food and beautiful voices, and hearing a choir singing about hope and justice. I know those things elevate my motivation and increase my striving to fight for justice and to take a stand. But one of the things that just always touches my heart about this concert, and this is my child Layla, who's not so much of a child, but you know, is that our cultures as Middle Easterners, Palestinian, I'm Arab American, Lebanese, Palestinian American, and Layla just came back from Mexico, and was hosted by a family in Bahia de Quino. And that family took Layla in as if they were one of their own children. And that is hospitality that I knew Layla was safe all the time, eating good food, being with this beautiful family that used their resources to make this person feel welcome and to learn and to grow. And maybe you've experienced Middle Eastern hospitality or hospitality from Latinx communities or African American communities or indigenous or so many different ethnicities, and the warmth of our churches can do that as well. So tonight, in solidarity with one another, we open our doors, our hearts, our legislation in order to welcome one another with the hospitality that we share in our cultures, because we also share in suffering, injustices, and violence, and war, and conflict. And so we have to stand in the gap for one another. And tonight, your donations come into that space that unites us and takes a stand against racism, against Islamophobia, against anti-Semitism. We cannot stand for these kinds of divisions in our society, and tonight is about that. You can make donations in cash, in check, you can use the QR code at the event website, and when you donate, your funds tonight go to our co-sponsors. We have Centro Romero, CRLN, Wellington UCC, and American Muslims for Palestine. We're so thankful for the hard work, the tireless efforts that these organizations are doing on behalf of the most marginalized people in our society. And I thank you all again for being here tonight and for your generous donations. Oh, if you want to write a check, you can write your check to CRLN. And the website is crln.org/2023-Pueblo-Canta/ and it's in your programs. You can find it on the website where you registered for tonight's event. Thank you.
So there are people coming around right now, and you can drop money or checks to CRLN. And in your program, you do have that link and the QR code if you want to use your phones to make donations.
We have a very special performance by our Dare to Dream youth. They will be accompanied by Los Cuatro Latinos, and they will sing America by Los Tigres del Norte. With this song, the children want to send a message that no matter what country we come from, we're all Americans. Tenemos una canción muy especial de nuestros jóvenes, estarán acompañados por los Cuatro Latinos y cantarán América por los Tigres del Norte. Con esta canción los niños quieren mandar el mensaje que no importa el país de donde vengamos, todos somos americanos. Gracias.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you all to be here tonight. We're celebrating together as a different cultures, Latino, no matter where you came from, we all welcome at this place. So myself, I am an immigrant. I've been with Centro Romero invited me to this place today, and these guys. And like I said, we celebrated today freedom. Everybody's welcome to the U.S. And like I said, I don't believe in borders or we have to feel like we are in our backyard here. So that's why we're here together tonight, as gathering, enjoying the food, and like I said, welcome everybody. We're going to play America for you guys, representing that every country is welcome to North America. Thank you. Ready? bendición. Tierra de bellas imágenes que alegra el corazón. Consejo de mis colores, bellas mujeres y flores, para los pueblos de América les canto mi canción. Argentina, Colombia, Ecuador y Paraguay, Brasil, Chile, Costa Rica, El Salvador y Uruguay, Venezuela y Guatemala, México, Cuba y Bahamas, todos son americanos sin importar el color. Que todos somos americanos y Dios hizo el mundo libre y las banderas la hizo el ser humano. Así que todos somos hermanos y we are all our brothers here. Give it a clap to America! Okay, our next song is representing like a Latino sabor, like the flavor of Latino, cumbia.
America, yo soy. I am America. Let's another round of applause for them. While he was transitioning to hear this all guy band by themselves, I want to call your attention to the program. Rita, could you give me a little bit more on the MC mic, please? If you take a look at this program, which used to be just a couple pages 14 years ago and continues to grow, take a look at the sponsors. We brought in over $12,000 in sponsors. A lot of you are sitting in this room who have donated. at the sponsor level, 50 or 100 or 250 or 500. We have 2 anonymous $1,000 sponsors, actually 3. One of them's sitting in the front row over here, but I'm not going to call her out because she asked me not to. We are here and doing this work because of the sponsorship, because of the people who have given donations. We're grateful to all of you who are at home and for the live stream that brings you into this beautiful space. So I just would like you, if you haven't already, to take time to look through at the list, at the ads. And if you go into, if you haven't ahead of time, the link to El Pueblo Canta is in here. It's by the QR code. You will see background on these groups and their websites. You can follow what they're doing. There's also calls to action that are happening tonight. All of that is on the website. So we invite you to please do that. And with that, I think I'm going to turn it over to Carmen.
Los Cuatro Latinos. 2 brothers and 2 friends got together playing a variety of genres from Christian rock to Latin music. Music has bonded these 4 individuals, and although they all carry very different perspectives of life, music has been their universal language. 2 hermanos y 2 amigos se reunieron tocando una variedad de géneros, desde el rock cristiano hasta la música latina. La música había unido a estos 4 individuales y, aunque todos tienen perspectivas muy diferentes de la vida, la música ha sido su lenguaje universal.
Next song is, like I was saying, to represent the flavor of Latino community, but of course, music is for everyone, for everybody who's here to enjoy. So take it away, boys.
Okay, that's me again. And now I have, this event is also not just to have fun, but also to take action, to do something about, so that we can change for our communities. And now, as ending the detention of immigrants is so important for several reasons. Detention centers has an impact on children's and adults' mental and physical health. Children in particular are vulnerable to the trauma of detention, which can lead to long-term emotional and psychological damage. Ending the detention of immigrant families is important for upholding human rights, preserving family unity, ensuring due process, and efficiently using government resources. So now, we want to urge the Biden administration and legislators to formally end the family detention. Today, we're asking you to join us for the Lutheran Immigrant Refugee Services campaign, and they're collecting signatures. And you can find the link in your programs and the QR code, or in the lobby. Sierra Land has a table. It's the little table with the red tablecloth. We have like three papers there with a QR code, so you can grab your phone and you can scan the code. That will take you directly to the link of the website of the Lutheran Immigrant Refugee Services, and you can sign. And we'll urge you to sign. So we need to put pressure to the Biden administration and our legislators, because we need to end the detention of our brothers and sisters. Thank you.
Solidarity is recognition of the bonds that weave life to life. It is our choice, our hope to treat as sacred our interdependence. We choose to build together, shoulder to shoulder, in the face of state-sanctioned violence at home and abroad. Be it in Chicago, Minneapolis, Tennessee, New Mexico, El Salvador, Venezuela, Palestine, Haiti, Yemen, and Syria. A violence that manifests through bullets, batons, and tear gas, suffocating our breath and piercing our bodies. The violence hides behind the law, building prison walls, attempting to kill solidarity through isolation and cages.
Intercommunal tension pits systematically abandon Black and brown communities against newly arriving immigrants to address policies and inequitable resources. We choose to join one another in resistance, not because our struggles are identical, but because we all struggle against formidable forces of structural racism, imprisonment, and lethal technologies used to maintain them. Solidarity distributes this process, asserting our humanity, united in defense of life, and the principles of justice and spirit of resistance.
Thank you, Kiki and Becca. Their work, and I've known them since their early college years, and they're well beyond college now. Very proud also and grateful for the work that they do, Becca with the Chicago Torture Justice Center and Kiki at Refugee One. So thank you for being part of our solidarity. Kofi, you can make your way on up. So for those of you who came to hear Wanda, who used to be a part of this congregation, she's married to Pastor Juan Angel, who was a pastor of this congregation. They moved back to Puerto Rico, and they're actually in Colombia right now, but he has a book connecting Martin Luther King to the Puerto Rican independence movement, and he was asked to speak in Colombia. So the sad news is Wanda is not here to sing. The good news is it opened up space for somebody new. I think you know, and you've been hearing about Tennessee, the state Representative Justin Jones, who was expelled from the Tennessee House, along with Representative Justin Pearson, because they spoke truth to power about the devastating gun violence and racism. Justin Jones said these words: "An attack on one of us is an attack on all of us. We are trying to represent a new South that represents multiracial democracy and human rights, that affirms human dignity across race, sexuality, across immigration status. We are fortunate tonight to have space for a member of Circles and Ciphers, an organization which affirms and inspires restorative justice, not criminal justice, those directly impacted by violence. We are grateful to welcome Kofi Diamond."
I want to say very quickly a little bit about myself. My name is Kofi Diamond. I'm Jamaican American. I make music. I've been making music for a minute, since I was 17. And my parents met in a choir, so that's kind of like my whole story. Music is kind of like my whole life. So I appreciate the experience to be able to share some of my music with you. This song is called Pressure, and basically what it's about both my parents are immigrants, so just the pressure of trying to adjust to your environment in general, and just being young and missing your significant other. The elements are sunrise, okay. I'm under pressure, I hope I survive with all of these lessons I learned in the sky. But I'll be fine with you by my side. With you by my side, and I'll be alright. Girl, I hope you okay. Make it through the night, and I know I'll come home late. So to the right, was not what I'm okay. And sometimes I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm alright. Don't get too high, I'm okay, I'm alright. Stay by my side, I'm okay, I'm alright. Don't get too high, I'm okay, I'm alright. Stay by my side. I'm underwater, I hope I don't drown. You let me in, throw all my clothes on the ground. And I'm way to my side. You by my side. Want to go away. Another day, you won't be understand. But we can run away. No anywhere. Go through so much pain. But maybe it's okay. Girl, I hope you, girl, I hope you okay. Take you through the night, and I know I'll go home. Through this life, sometimes I walk at my own pace. My shoes untied, on the sour I go days. And when you arrive, I'm okay, I'm alright. Don't get too high, I'm okay, I'm alright. Don't get too stay by my side. I'm under pressure, I hope I survive. With all of these lessons I learned in this life. And I'm trying with you by my side. With you by my side, I'll be alright. You've been doing okay. Through the night, baby, be kind. So let it go to the side. I'm a person, but I just don't leave. I hope you okay. I know I go home late. On the side, sometimes I walk out my own place. With my shoes inside, on this side, I know that when you go right, then I'm okay. I'm alright. Don't get too high. Stay by my side, by my side. Don't get too high, don't get too high. I'm okay, I'm alright, I'm okay, I hope you okay. And I know I come home late. Sometimes I walk out my own way. On the sour I know days. And when you around, I'm okay, I'm alright. Don't get too high. Stay by my side, I'm okay, I'm alright. Don't get too high, I'm okay, I'm alright. Stay by my side, I'm okay.
Thank you, Circles and Cyphers. Thank you, Coffee, for your performance. There has been a lot of tension among the immigrant community and the Black and Brown community because of the new arrivals that have come to Chicago. A lot of the time, that's why we are very thankful that Circles and Cyphers and we're able to be here with us. A lot of the times is because we fear of what the other people are going to come and do within our communities. But also because we are already, as our solidarity statement says, our struggles are not the same, but we are facing the struggle, an equal struggle against structural racism. However, this type of events, this concert brings in all of the diversity and brings us together. Because the only way that we're gonna win is by being solidarity to the others. So today, I'm asking you to call your state representatives and tell them that we need a budget that works for our families and our communities. That we don't need, our politicians to give more money to corporations. We want them to be invested in our communities, in our brown immigrant communities, new arrivals, so that we can win together. There is an action table in the back, and you guys are able to find your state representatives, but also if you go into our websites, Senator Romero, CRLN, or Wellington, you guys are gonna find the link where you can send an immediate message to your state representatives and your Congress so that we can have a budget that is fair for all of our communities. So what is the only way that we're gonna win? Solidarity, right? The other thing that I wanted to do an activity, and I think that I might run a little bit over time, we are all one, right? So maybe next time that you hear someone say that, that you encounter these conversations, our youth learned a song during Indigenous Peoples' Day. And it says, one earth, one people, one love. And they learn it in sign language. So one love, one earth, you put your finger up, and then you go like this, one earth, one people, one love. Okay, so let's do it again. One earth, one people, one love. Thank you so much.
Just because we need 30 seconds, I'm going to teach you the music for that. I love that you know that. I teach right across the street from Central Romero at Haiti School, a global music anti-racism program, and there are about 40 birth nations there, and that's one of the songs they learn. So it's one earth, one people, one love. Try with me. One earth, one people, one love. One earth, one people, one love is.
Chris is the singing teacher, right? I'm not. And you guys don't want to hear me sing. All right. So the next group is Wellington Community Choir. They have been participating with us for a couple of years, and we really like to have them. They use different musical styles and genre, including classical Latin gospel, global traditional, and contemporary songs and hymns. The Wellington Choir creates a thoughtful and inclusive experiences that build community and inspires people to live their faith in action. And today, El Pueblo Canta song selection is Let Justice Roll Down, words and music by Alan Vance.
I also want to call your attention to the scarves they're wearing. These were made by Afghanis way before the horrible devastation that happened almost 2 years ago with the US pullout and all the Afghan refugees who are fleeing to other parts of the world. Wellington bought these scarves because some of our members were doing some work. In fact, Buddy, raise your hand. Buddy is one of the people who worked in Afghanistan, and these are, is it Dari or Pashto? So Dari, and it says border free in English and border free in Dari, one of the language of Afghanistan.
There is no freedom, the wise one said. Let justice roll down, roll down. Let the poor cry out for shelter and bread. Let justice roll down like a mighty stream. Oh, children, don't you get weary. Walk together, believe in the dream. When the way gets rough, we'll make a new way. Let justice roll down like a mighty stream. Hatred will never drive our taste. Let love roll down, roll down.
Remember our hearts make us great.
Let love roll down like a mighty stream. Oh, children, don't you get weary. Walk together, believe in the dream. When the way gets rough, we'll make a new way.
to siblings, daughters, and sons.
Let peace roll down, roll down. May our voices ring out louder than the guns. Let peace roll down like a mighty stream. Oh, children, don't you get weary. Walk together, believe in the dream. When the way gets rough, we'll make a new way. Let peace roll down like a mighty stream.
When this rise up, just like a blow.
Let songs roll down, roll down. The poets remind us of what we know. Let songs roll down like a mighty stream.
Oh, children, don't you get weary. Walk together, believe in the dream.
When the way gets rough, we'll make a new way. Let songs roll down like a mighty stream.
Step by step, one by one, let justice roll down, roll down. We can kill the prophet, but the dream lives on. Let justice roll down like a mighty stream. Oh, children, don't you get weary. Walk together, believe in the dream. When the way gets rough, we'll make a new way. Let justice roll down.
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 Let justice roll down like a mighty stream.
We are almost to that point, and we have a very powerful Palestinian dance group to end the night in just a little bit. Thank you, Wellington Choir. Actually, I think the Wellington Choir has been part of at least 10 of those 14 years. So we are very grateful. One of the things, I got a text this morning in the middle of setting up for this, and it was one of my colleagues with the Sanctuary Working Group. We are part of CRLN, part of the Immigrant Welcoming Congregations. In March of 2020, when COVID hit, about 6 of us started meeting on a Monday to figure out how to get people out of detention, which was worse and more dangerous than ever. 3 years later, 35 of us meet every Monday at 1 o'clock, representing different faith communities, organizations, and communities. And we have been supporting over 150 people. Individuals, families, including a MacArthur grant that we got to open up an entire house, which is fantastic. It houses 15 people. So the need is beyond. The text I got this morning was from one of my colleagues with the Sanctuary Working Group who said, I just got word there's a family at the airport, a Venezuelan family, who was part of, they were burned in that fire, the one that happened on the Texas-Mexico border. Do we have a place for them? This happens every day. It happens unceasingly. And there are people living at the police stations, in the emergency rooms. And I want you to know that the money collection that's going to happen right now, we're going to do one more money collection. I know you've given a lot. If you can't give again, that's fine. You can spread the word. Because you know there's that QR code, and there's that link, and you can share that with folks. A chunk of that money gets spent for the Sanctuary Working Group to work with the endless stream of asylum seekers that are coming. Most of the people we're working with are coming from across Africa, and Central and South America, and the Caribbean, and more recently from Afghanistan as well. So I invite you, if you can, to put some more cash in there, make a check out to CRLN, or go to the QR code and the link if it's possible to make another donation. And with that, Nina is going to come up. If you read Arabic, it's in the program. If you don't read Arabic, it's also in English, and we've been hearing that. So we're going to hear that solidarity statement in Arabic before we go into the final part of our program.
Assalamu alaikum again. Hello, everyone. I know it's late, so I have to speak and make you wake up. Hopefully, you all can stay awake. So I'm going to say the solidarity statement in Arabic. بيان التضامن للبويبلو كانتا. التضامن هو إدراك للروابط التي تجمع بين حياة وأخرى. النسيج الذي يربط حياة بحياة. التضامن هو خيارنا، أملنا بأن نعامل العلاقات المتبادلة بيننا وارتباطنا ببعض بقدسية. نحن نختار أن نبني مع بعضنا البعض ساعدا على ساعد، كتفا على كتف، متحدين في وجه العنف الذي تفرضه الدولة هنا في بلدنا وفي الخارج، سواء كان هذا في شيكاغو، مينيابوليس، نيو مكسيكو، هندوراس، فلسطين، هايتي، سوريا أو اليمن. العنف الذي يظهر عبر القنابل والعصي وقنابل الغاز التي تخنق أجسامنا وتخنق أنفاسنا وتخترق أجسامنا. العنف يختبئ تحت القوانين التي تبني جدران السجون التي تحاول قتل تضامننا عن طريق عزلنا في أقفاص منفردة. نحن نختار أن ننضم ونشارك بعضنا البعض بالمقاومة، لا لأن صراعاتنا متماثلة، ولكن لأننا بتنا جميعا نصارع ضد القوى الهائلة من العنصرية الدنيوية. التسجيل والتكنولوجيا المسممة التي تستعمل للحفاظ والبقاء على هذه الممارسات. تضامننا يعطل سير هذه الممارسات ويؤكد على إنسانيتنا المتحدة للدفاع عن الحياة وقواعد العدالة وروح المقاومة. Thank you. When I came here last year and the year before, I felt like we're talking about Palestine and we're asking you for, to take action, but I felt like there's a missing link. What's Palestine? What's the story of Palestine? How did Palestinians become refugees? How are we ready to refugee ship? And that's why this year we thought we're gonna just give you 5 minutes of Palestine 101, and it's gonna be brought to you by our American Muslim from Palestine education coordinator, Tariq Khalil. Tariq is a lawyer. He works with us. He's a board member of Chicago ARP. So I'll leave you with him to talk to you about Palestine for a little bit. Thank you.
Wow, what a wonderful, wonderful gathering. And let me say, as a Muslim, it is such an honor to be in this beautiful church. I can't believe I've never been inside this church. I need to go to all these churches that are in the Chicagoland area. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And it's such an honor seeing all of you here. And I am deeply, deeply honored to be able to just spend just a little bit of time, just to give you a little bit of perspective and share the narrative that is almost always missed in our media discourse, in our political discourse, in our social discourse, and that is the story of Palestine and the story of the Palestinian people. Intersectionality is a concept that we hold dear, and it's not something that just started recently. The foremost poet, Palestinian poet, Mahmoud Darwish, wrote about the connections between the struggles of Black Americans here and Palestinians. This was half a century ago that he was writing about this. And he spoke vividly and with emotion because he understood that structural racism, that settler colonialism, that imperialism, these are structures of oppression that exist and that are connected in many different ways, in many of the same ways. And it impacts all of us. And we Palestinians are indigenous to our land. Just as the Native Americans are indigenous to their land, just as Mexicans are indigenous to their land, as an indigenous people, we don't ask to negotiate for something that is rightfully ours. We demand that it be implemented. And that is the connection that these struggles have with one another. The connection of how to make the case for each other's state of being. How to make the case to get us out of oppression. Now we are approaching 75 years of Palestinian displacement, dispossession, ethnic cleansing, statelessness, powerlessness, disintegration, fragmentation. The Palestinian people are fragmented throughout the world, and this began in May of 1948, or it reached its apex at that point, and we are living through it today. That is why we refer to it as an Nakba, or an Arabic catastrophe. This catastrophe began in 48 and continues in 2023. Palestinians are living under an apartheid regime that's aided and abetted with our tax dollars. $3.8 billion a year goes towards the implementation of this apartheid system that is now impacting over 13 million Palestinians worldwide in different ways and to varying degrees. So the Palestinians that are living in what is now known as Israel are experiencing apartheid through institutional discrimination and clever laws that are meant to maintain Jewish racial supremacy in Israel. In the West Bank, it's through an entrenchment of a military occupation. In Gaza, it's through a siege and air blockade, air, sea, and land blockade. And the Palestinian refugees that are living within the vicinity and also in the periphery of Palestine and beyond are denied their right to repatriation, are denied their right to restitution, are denied their right to compensation and satisfaction. So Palestinians of all walks of life are impacted. And as an oppressed people, we must understand how we present the case. So when we listen to a media pundit or a commentator or an expert talk about this issue, and they say, well, the Palestinians did A, B, and C, and Israel is just responding, or is acting in self-defense. We need to understand how to use the right language. If you understand that this people is oppressed, then they are always, not sometimes, not most of the time, they are always in a defensive posture. So it is the Palestinians that are fighting in self-defense. It is the Palestinians that are resisting the colonial oppressor. You cannot be the oppressor and then claim self-defense. That makes no sense intuitively. It does not make intuitive sense. So that is why it is essential that when we talk about all marginalized and all oppressed peoples, that we do not raise them to the level of, do not raise them to a level of parity, where they're just disputing over something. This is not a dispute over land. This is a situation. This is a situation between a colonizer and a colonized, an occupier and an occupied, a dispossessor and a dispossessed, an oppressor and an oppressed. That is how you frame the issue, whether it's Palestinians or any other oppressed group. And when you characterize it and you frame it in that way, then the whole media discourse will just dismantle. Because if you make that the narrative and the people embrace that as the narrative, then you will not be confused, you will not be distracted, and you will understand the story in its clarity. And that's all the time I have. I wish I had more time with you. It's such a pleasure to be with all of you. Thank you.
Before we have a final pitch and a final dance group, and Nina, if Danka is ready? They're ready, okay. I would like Pastors Catherine and Pastors Michael, could you please stand up? These are two of the pastors here at North Shore Baptist Church. They have graciously opened up their doors and their community to us for the second year, and And Pastor Michael is actually leaving for Palestine, Israel next week. So he is also a part of that bridge, a group that is looking at apartheid in Palestine, in Israel. With that, we have our final pitch from Rosa, and then our final dance.
Thank you again. Sorry, I'll see you for a second. Wow, my heart's pounding. Tadek, thank you for sharing that history and your passion, your fire, and your anger, righteous anger. It takes courage to do that, and it takes courage for all of us to come into this space and be able to call out truth to power. And tonight, I want to turn your attention to the hope building work of a couple organizations, one being Bright Stars of Bethlehem, and Bright Stars of Bethlehem supports Daughters Pelham University. You can look at their website. I have a call to action for you that has an acronym tonight, SHED, S-H-E-D, S for solidarity. And in solidarity, I encourage you, if you are a member of a community, whether it be a mosque, a church, a synagogue, a business, a nonprofit organization, to look at the Apartheid-Free Communities Pledge online and sign that pledge as a collective action to declare what is happening in Israel, apartheid. You can learn more about that. The Episcopal Church Diocese of Chicago made a majority vote to adopt a resolution on this particular issue, and many other organizations have come alongside, so you can learn more about that. H is for humanitarian, and there are bills that are companion bills in the Senate and the House that are cutting humanitarian funding through UNRWA to Palestinians, and this is something that we need you to contact your congressional representatives about, so you can learn more about that. E for education, there are some webinars coming up, and I have a link that you can go to in the call to action on the crled.org event page. D for donate to the organizations tonight, and Bright Stars of Bethlehem, and American Muslims for Palestine, and other groups doing work. But tonight I want to tell you a story, because history is very dehumanizing if you take out the story. Okay? And so, in a few weeks, on May 15th, Israel will be celebrating its 75th birthday. And this will be a tremendous celebration for the Jewish people who desired a place to call their own in the world. But a year before the state of Israel was born, a Palestinian, my grandpa, took portraits of former Prime Minister Golda Meir in his studio in Jerusalem, and that was in Palestine at that moment when it was a British mandate. In 1948, 1 year later after he took Golda Meir's portrait in Jerusalem, he took portraits of my aunts and uncles, 6 siblings, in his studio in Bethlehem. Why was it in Bethlehem? Because in 1947, my family had to flee for their lives under a violent push and attack to leave Jerusalem and find a place to go. Luckily, they had resources to go to Bethlehem and reestablish a studio there, but many Palestinians did not have those resources. So, that studio was shuttered, their home, they abandoned. My mom and Nida, my friend, her mom, are older than the state of Israel. Keep that in mind. For Palestinians, May 15, 1948 is called Nakba Day, or the catastrophe, and as Tadek shared, that catastrophe is continuing today. In 1967, the Six-Day War occurred, and Golda Meir sent humanitarian food and emergency supplies to my family, and my grandfather refused her apology that she sent along with this, but she asked for her negatives of her portraits. And so he sent my mom, who was in her 20s at that time. And when she went to deliver her negatives, Golda Meir, who is quoted as saying there is no such thing as Palestinian, said to my mom, I was a Palestinian for 20 years. Today, things have gotten worse under the State of Israel's apartheid government, daily creating more refugees, driving people off of their land, bulldozing their homes, and imprisoning and torturing children. But the Palestinians are there, hanging on for their right to worship, to live, to eat, light their candles, pray, go to mosque, make film, art, educate, healthcare, trying their very best, sharing their cuisine, leading tourists into hospitality, and that's just like the amazing artists and musicians and people that you have seen tonight. So please check out our call to action, and thank you for your solidarity.
Our finale now. Our finale is our line dance. It's called dabka. And the dabka is something that when the Palestinians used to build the home, they used to have men come and dance on it to make the ceiling firm and nice. And and it's a celebration. So from there, the dabka came. So now it's a sign of unity. So you will see the guys dancing together, same steps and same thing. So it's a traditional line dancing that I hope you like. We have Al-Hurriya Dabka group. Al-Hurriya means liberation. So it's the liberation Dabka group to do a beautiful line dance or Dabka for us. تفضلوا. Can we start the music, please?
كلنا مع بعض نستقبل فرقة الدفء، فرقة الحرية. ويلكم. فرقة الحرية. الله معاهم. تاريخ الطول ووقت البلد رايح على درجة وبداية تحت الباية. والله تاريخ الطول ووقت البلد رايح على درجة وبداية تحت الباية. وخايف يا تاريخ الروح وتتبدل عايزين الخير والثاني الأبد. يا الله يا الله. ويا كريم بطلون يا تتفضحوا جنروا في يا تتفضحوا والله كريم بطلون يا تتفضحوا جنروا في يا تتفضحوا ويا كريم بطلون يوم تتصافون تعرف الجاب وظهر الحدث الله معهم الله معهم الله حيهم الله معكم معلوم وعند البيت العين ابو العريس الكف الاسود
So as we, mujeres, women, come up, come up, come up. Come up here. Get up here. You notice we're all women. Come on. Get up here. Claudia. Central Romero is up here. Speaking of Central Romero, there's a beautiful table out there, and Central Romero youth have used all recycled things. Right, hold that up. There we go, Debbie. They are beautiful things. They have not had a lot of sales tonight. It's not expensive. You're supporting the work of Central Romero and the youth. Please check out that table. Check out the action tables of American Muslims for Palestine, CRLN, and Bright Stars of Bethlehem. And I think, is there food?
Sorry, we still have a lot of food downstairs, okay? So and we have the to-go containers, so you guys are welcome to go downstairs and take them to go. They're gonna be $5, you can put whatever it fits in, okay?
Okay, for $5, whatever fits in your food container. Make your way downstairs if you want to take some food home. And I think we're simply saying, thank you. Thank you for being a part of our Pueblo Canta.
We can do nothing. Yes.